Assembly. Sure.
Wait for a little bit.
Then asked to move back.
2 meters, please.
2 meters.
A little bit more. A little bit more.
If we turn it upside down, is that okay?
Right here.
Okay, thank you.
We've now been asked to move back 2 meters from the incident. What's going on? We can't really hear. So the young man's trying to compromise, and so he's arguing that he has the right to peacefully assemble and freedom of speech, and that he wants to know why the city of Dresden has taken that away.
In England, we're allowed to sit outside the area.
He's saying, and he's telling them they can move across the area if they want to continue to protest.
That's okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 policemen for 2 cardboard signs. This is the use of resources that's going on in Dresden to keep the Bilderbergers safe. I think it might be more, it might be 17 police for 2 cardboard signs. Right there. So we'll see how this is going to turn out.
How old is this? If I didn't have it, this is okay. This is secure. But this is insecure. This is insecure. That doesn't make any sense.
All right, so they're taking their cardboard signs right now that said this sign will be confiscated. So it was obviously prophetic. And the other sign talking about what's going on here with the Bilderberg meeting.
Entschuldigung, Herr Tillich, dürfte ich Ihnen eine Frage stellen? Ich wollte Sie gerne fragen, was Sie bei der Bilderberg-Gruppe machen.
Danke.
Vielen Dank. Haben Sie dort eine Rede gehalten bei der Bilderberg-Gruppe? Treffen Sie sich mit
What are you going to be talking
Lobbyisten?
about at the Bilderberg meeting? Can you give us the agenda, the real agenda?
Eine Frage.
Was ist denn?
Is it going to be bringing more migrants into Germany?
Mr. Tillich, one question.
One question,
Sir,
real quick.
why do you sell out our country to lobbyists that are paid with our tax money?
Why are you guys working for this?
Why? Who is he working for?
Vielen Dank. Just one question.
One question to the
What are you
mayor.
going to be discussing at the Bilderberg meeting?
Are you the mayor? Sorry, one question. Who are you? Now they're running away.
Look, they're fleeing.
What do you have to hide since you're running away? What's the problem? Shit, that was...
So who were we talking to just now? What was going on?
I don't have much clue about this guy. He is like the minister of another department of Germany, but his name is Tillich, and he's on the member list of the Bilderberg group. He's probably not a real visitor, but you know, he's the boss of this department here of Germany, of Dresden, so he maybe held a speech or something and he knows about it. So we tried to interview him, and you know what you see, pure silence, saying nothing and being ashamed of it, like the normal result.
Yeah, why didn't you want to talk? I mean, all you had was you were very polite.
I asked him one question, but I don't know, he was just running out. So we wait for our friend Max, maybe he got another conversation. So yeah, that's how they behave when you ask them about it. It's always the same. We've been through this a lot of times.
Max, did you get anything?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did he say?
Well, I confronted him when he was going inside, and then he said nothing.
Mike?
But actually, when I asked him kindly if he would answer me some questions about the Bilderberg, because I was doing a whole report and stuff like that. Herr Tillich, können Sie mir kurz sagen, was Sie sich von der Bilderberg-Konferenz erhoffen?
Sie können mit reinkommen, bitte.
Also, mich würde interessieren, was Sie sich von dem Abendessen, an dem Sie ja teilnehmen, was Sie sich da von erwarten, von den Gesprächen, die Sie da haben, weil die Leute ja auf der, ja, sag ich mal, weltelitären Stufe jetzt etwas höher stehen als Sie.
Also ich glaube, dass es da einen Bundesminister gibt. Es gibt auch Unternehmer, die ich im bisherigen Leben schon öfters getroffen habe. Also das heißt, man trifft bekannte Gesichter wieder, aber man trifft auch neue Persönlichkeiten, die man bisher nicht getroffen hat. Und Bilderberg hat sich ganz bewusst für Dresden entschieden, um auch deutlich zu machen, dass das eine Stadt ist, die wirtschaftlich und wissenschaftlich erfolgreich ist und die gleichzeitig aber auch eine weltoffene Stadt ist. Und deswegen ist man hierher gegangen. Und ich erhoffe mir, dass der eine oder andere, der jetzt hier ist, vielleicht sagt, okay, Dresden ist auch ein Standort, ich habe es von anderen gehört, wo es wert ist, auch in der Zukunft wieder, also quasi das auf dem Radar zu haben und zu investieren.
Was erwarten Sie konkret inhaltlich von den Gesprächen? Können Sie dazu was sagen?
Ja, ich bin ja das ist eine Ausnahme, die man hier gemacht hat. Es wird von Fall zu Fall das gastgebende Land oder die gastgebende Stadt eingeladen. Das ist hier der Fall. Das heißt also, es wird mit Sicherheit so sein, ich werde an einem Tisch vielleicht mit 10 Gesprächsteilnehmern sitzen und die restlichen 120 also quasi nur aus der Ferne sehen. Und wenn das Essen zu Ende ist, geht man wieder nach Hause. Also von daher ist die Erwartungshaltung die, dass man vielleicht noch die Gelegenheit hat, mit dem einen oder anderen vorher oder nachher ins Gespräch zu kommen, auch für Sachsen nochmal zu werben. Das ist das, was ich davon erwarte.
Eine letzte Frage, wenn ich darf. Gibt es Sachen, die Sie an der Form der Konferenz, zum Beispiel die Transparenz wird viel kritisiert oder so, gibt es Sachen, die Sie an der Form der Konferenz kritisieren?
Also ich habe hier festgestellt, dass im Unterschied zur Vergangenheit die Bilderberg-Konferenz nicht nur die Teilnehmer ja veröffentlicht hat, sondern auch die Themen, über die gesprochen wird. Und es ist, glaube ich, auch mal gut, dass man außerhalb der Öffentlichkeit und der öffentlichen Wahrnehmung im Prinzip eine Diskussion führt. Das findet ja auch an anderen Stellen statt. Also Unternehmen beraten ihre Unternehmensstrategie ja auch nicht öffentlich oder Politiker sind, wenn sie ein Gesetz erstmal erarbeiten, auch daran interessiert, dass sie erstmal in Ruhe auch das ausdiskutieren können. Und so müssen das auch solche Leute, die sich zusammentun und die über Angelegenheiten sprechen, die im Prinzip sie miteinander diskutieren wollen. Da werden ja keine Entscheidungen und keine Beschlüsse gefasst. Sie sind dem Aufsichtsrat verpflichtet, sie sind den Aktionären verpflichtet und die Politiker den Parlamenten verpflichtet. Okay. Danke. So.
And welcome back to the InfoWars Nightly News. Joining me now for the News Blitz is Darren McBreen. Now, McBreen, I've been in California. I saw the crazed look in everyone's eyes as they were worshiping Hillary Clinton, and it really frightened me for the future. I guess I failed to get the memo that it's time to start worshiping the gods.
It's time to start worshiping. Well, there's no doubt that Hillary Clinton is the ultimate candidate, the puppet candidate for the establishment.
Oh, it's
right?
her time.
It is her time, and she's funded by the globalists. She's funded by the big banks and the neocons. And even though I think she's probably the most unpopular candidate in America, or one of the most unpopular and hated people in America right now, you'd never know it by watching mainstream media television, because they truly make her out to look like a hero. And right. She looks like a legitimate presidential candidate.
Right. I mean, how do you just gloss over the fact that she is under FBI investigation and that she's been continually been caught in lies over her email server, putting the country at risk, and then lying again? And I mean, they pretend that they are going to cover her Clinton Foundation, Anderson CIA Cooper, you know, he does the hard-hitting piece and says, well, this, and she's like, oh, well, you know, was there some issues there with the accounting? Sure. But we did a really, you know, it's just like, come on.
Well, look, we've told you many times on this program that there are only 6 corporations that own and control 90% of everything that you watch, that you read, and that you listen to on the radio. Only 6 corporations control all of it. And they've got their marching orders to support Hillary Clinton. Now, I want to show you something that we threw together. This is a compilation of a news media compilation, and this is local news programs all across the nation. It doesn't matter what city, state, or town that you live in. The news all across the board is all the same.
Who are you really shopping for this holiday season? It's okay, you can admit it, if you've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
Well, it's okay, you can admit it if you have bought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. You've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it if you've bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
Well, if you filled up your gas tank lately, then you don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you that gas prices are back on the rise.
You don't need us to tell you gas prices are on the rise. I know.
In consumer news, economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
You came from someplace else. Somebody brought you. You came from someplace else. Somebody brought you. Shame on us if we forgot. Shame on us if we forgot. More tolerant and more just and more accepting. More tolerant, more just, more accepting. Do not threaten to burn the house down. Don't threaten to burn the house down. They're not focused on you. They're not focused on you.
And now let's look at the mainstream news media on a national level this time, repeating the same talking points, this time about Hillary Clinton, because regardless of your politics, Leanne, I think we could both agree that this is truly a historic time in our country.
Did you hear it? It's the sound of that glass ceiling breaking, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on.
It's an incredible and a historic moment, again, no matter your politics.
And I think we can all admit, no matter what your politics are in this situation, no matter who you support, this is a very historic moment.
Adam, no matter what your politics, this is a historic moment.
Regardless of your politics, this is a historic moment.
You know, with all the back and forth over Sanders and Clinton and Trump and everything on the Republican side, can we just take a second to stop and recognize history?
Regardless of where you stand politically, tonight is a very special night for women in this country.
And some residents this morning are saying that regardless of politics, they are proud that their local girl has made history.
Whatever your politics are, we need to mark this moment in American history.
However you feel about Hillary Clinton, she certainly claims her place in history.
No matter what side of the aisle you're on, there's no denying Hillary Clinton has made history.
Whatever you think about Hillary Clinton, whatever you think about her politics, an important moment for the nation.
And look, these talking points are not only repeated on television, but you can see the same talking points on websites and in newspapers. Check out the LA Times article. This is just from yesterday. Hillary Clinton finally breaking the glass ceiling. I wonder where they got that idea.
Did you hear it? It's the sound of that glass ceiling breaking, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on.
Darren, you know, I kind of just get the feeling that regardless of what our politics are, we really should just stop and acknowledge that this is a really important time.
It really is an important time. Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, her story.
Yeah, it's her story.
It's time to just go ahead and get rid of that.
Well, all across the board, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's newspapers, television, even movies, television shows, Madam Secretary, which is based on the real life of Hillary Clinton. Supposedly.
Yeah, it's all priming us to accept this time as if we didn't already know that she was going to break through the glass ceiling.
And you know what's crazy is there's a lot of people who they don't necessarily read news websites, they don't watch television news, but they'll watch television. And they still get these strong political opinions by watching shows like Madam Secretary, or they will see Hillary Clinton on Saturday Night Live, think she's very funny, and that's how they elect their president, because she's a woman.
Right, or President Obama on Jimmy Fallon, or any other myriad of television appearances he has made. So,
yeah, Donald Trump's bad because he used to be a TV reality show.
Very successful TV reality producer. Well, Darren, let's not forget that just last year we reported on the Obama administration meeting with producers in Hollywood and having them inject political agendas in their scripts, in movies,
Sony
in television
Pictures
shows.
and Disney. That's what he met with the CEOs of Sony and Disney to help control the narrative.
Exactly.
On Muslim immigrants and also ISIS.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's how they can just watch a show and have a fully politically informed